Edmund, who knows you best? Is it your friends, your daughter, your wife, your colleagues, your manager?
Why do you ask?
Because this video is going to be about peer assessment.
Peer assessment is both an assessment and a learning activity. Let the students be part of the entire process. They need to understand the criteria. That means knowing the learning outcome descriptions may be broken down into more detail, but also in more comprehensive learning goals. They also need to know what kind of work they are to assess. For an online course, it is likely to be written text, an essay, report, blog post, a video, or an oral presentation. But it could also be discussion, a spreadsheet, or a computer program code. When the students know what the learning goal is and what the object of the assessment is, they can be part of the discussion on criteria. What does an excellent project look like? What does it take to be good enough? This process is not taking time from other learning activities. It is in itself a learning activity. To assess something, you must get to know a lot about it. A rubric created by the students and teacher in cooperation can be a very good tool for peer assessment. The work of former students can serve as a model for discussion, but remember to get their consent. When the students know what to assess and how to assess it, it is time to talk about feedback. Many students feel more vulnerable putting their efforts out for peer assessment than for teacher assessment. The students need to discuss how to be constructive in their feedback to each other. A common problem is that students feel awkward pointing out mistakes or less than good parts of a peer's work, even in a formal assessment. Preparation and class discussion can mediate these challenges. As any teacher knows, it takes more effort to write a good comment than to give feedback face-to-face. This is because in a face-to-face meeting, tone of voice, body language, and facial expressions help give the criticism nuance. It could therefore be a good idea to let the students record their peer reviews as videos. They probably already have both the equipment and the experience. As a teacher, you must consider whether to assess the assessment, which can provide a lot of information about the students' understanding, knowledge, and skills, and whether to give feedback on the feedback. Students generally want as much feedback as possible. Doesn't this take a lot of time? You bet, but it should be worth it. Preparing for assessing the task is preparing for the task itself, and assessing peers means having their knowledge and insight. And if the assessor disagrees with the assessed, they will have to argue for that and investigate if one solution is more correct than the other. Teaching is always about prioritizing. Usually, if something is worth doing, it is worth assessment and feedback. But it doesn't always have to be a complicated process, and small achievements can be assessed as part of a longer process.